Hello and welcome to this month's training, Selling via Relationship Building for the Boost Your Boutique Elite membership. I am excited to present this because I feel like this is something we don't often talk about, and I wanted to approach selling from a completely different angle than maybe you've ever been taught. So let's dive right in. I want to spend the next hour with you talking about some fun stuff. So here we go. All right, so what the next hour looks like. We are going to review and deep dive into how to build relationships with customers by getting consistent on social media using your brand voice. Ugh, that's like a mouthful. But the deal is that social media is very important. And I feel like we can't talk about this enough. So I'm going to go through it one more time in a way that really addresses having a brand voice. Now, if you have not done a lot around your brand and branding, then this is a good chance to kind of relook at that and start thinking a little bit more about what that means for you and your boutique. Next, we're going to talk about how to show up for your customers. What does it mean to show up for them? Show them that you are a real person. I think so much of this is really establishing that you're a real person in your business and that there is no sort of Wizard of Oz factor here where, we need you to come out from behind the curtain a little bit, because I think that part of having a boutique is really being the face and the personality behind that boutique, whether you like it or not. Let's just get with that, okay? Then we'll talk about how to use third-party validation to help your business grow and help your brand grow, help more people buy from you. And then lastly, I'm going to show you a couple ways to beef up your social media power that I hope you're going to like. In the workbook, you'll see that I've also included some extra sort of activities for you to work on this month around building all of this stuff out, and especially with social media, like actually making a plan. So you might have learned a lot about social media from me already. However, you really need a plan and you really need to start putting it into place, because I think if you don't, then you're not going to get anywhere. So this training is really about putting that plan into place so that you can have that consistency factor and, like I said, show up for your customers. So, why is it important to master sales in this way? Well, it's kind of obvious. It's how you make money, right? I find so many women want to start boutiques and they buy all these products and they have fun building their website or opening their store, and then they're just like scared to sell. I'm like, what the heck? Like, you can't just hold on to all the merchandise forever. You've got to sell. This is how you make money. You've got to get used to a new way of buying product. It's not yours to keep. It's not for in your closet. It's for other people. So just get used to being like, okay, I'm loving buying this, but it's going to leave. It's going to leave. And, for me, like, everyone has asked me kind of as I've grown this business, like, what did you do in your truck? Like, did you take merchandise and then take it for yourself and then like cost it out or whatever? I mean, honestly, no, like I barely ever wore anything from the truck, which probably isn't great. But I didn't care. I was so like hungry to sell it that I figured it was just like wasting money to wear my own stuff. I would take things here and there, but to be honest, over the course of 4 or 5 years, I probably only took 15 items, maybe 20, maybe. So I think it's important to just focus on the idea that you're selling. You're buying all the stuff that you love, but it really is how you make money. So just, let's come to terms with that first and foremost here. And next, it's really, seriously, it's how we build customer relationships. It's really how we build our business, right? This is how we build our boutique business. And any business is like this. Anything that is whether it's B2B or B2C, you're always building relationships with the people that you're selling to. It's the quickest and fastest way to be successful because, frankly, like, you need their money, right? So let's think about it in a way where we're going to build these relationships and people are going to buy, right? So if it's hard for you to feel like you need to sell all the time, right? Like a lot of people are uncomfortable with the idea of selling. Just think about this whole concept as building relationships, making friends, literally. That's all you're doing. The reason my tagline is make lots of friends and make lots of money is because if you make lots of friends, you will make lots of money. That is just how it goes. Remember, you want to get these customers who are repeat customers, VIP customers, which are customers who consistently spend, I'd say, over $100 to $200 with you, like monthly or bi-monthly, something like that. Brand advocate customers. Maybe these are customers who they don't spend a lot of money, but they talk a lot about you. Those are like gold. These three kinds of customers are really the number one way that you're going to end up spreading word about your boutique. Now, I always said that women love to talk about other women that are doing cool stuff, especially when it comes to shopping. If a woman has come into your boutique and absolutely loves what you're selling, then she is going to talk about it. If someone uses your product that they love, they're going to talk about it, right? I know for me, think for a minute. Stop and think, like, what is your most favorite thing you've ever bought, or what do you use all the time and you're just like, oh, this is so great. It's either changed my life, or I look fabulous in it, or my skin has transformed because of this soap. I don't know. What is something in your life like that? Okay, now translate that to how many people have you told about that? Whether it be by social media, whether it be at a Christmas party, whether it be, at a play group, whatever, like, you know that there are things in your life that you are so excited to tell people about. So here's the thing. Other women are going to feel like that about you and your boutique. And that's why it's so important to build these relationships with them, because they are going to be your best advertising. Really, I rarely ever spent money on advertising in my business. This was like kind of pre-Facebook advertising when I started my boutique. I mean, the last year I did some Facebook advertising, but it wasn't like I wasn't that good at it. I didn't really know what I know now. And to be honest, like, I had the best women who would just tell everyone about what I was doing, especially in the truck. It was like, if I did one party with 12 women, I guaranteed I would book at least like one party out of every other party. So it just always piggybacks on each other. So just be aware of that and know, like, from this, we're going to talk through a lot of this kind of stuff, but know that, like, your best customers, yes, they're going to make you money, like, when they're in your store buying stuff, but you're not going to always see the other ways they're making you money. Whether it's wearing something cute and telling other people about it, or posting about what they bought on Facebook, like, you might not always see it. So just be really aware of that, okay? And to wrap this, like, why it's important up, it's really about remembering that any new customer is just waiting to be your friend, waiting to be your boutique's friend. So make it easy for them, right? Be nice, be hospitable, even if you're in a terrible mood. I remember one of the things that I don't think I'll ever forget this, actually. I remember getting a call from a woman who had set me up with this amazing parking spot in downtown Boston. It was my first Christmas in the truck, and she had set me up with this great spot. I literally, like, made so much money. And one day she called me on my cell phone, and I was like, oh, hi, how are you? And she's like, honestly, Emily, I'm not okay. And I was like, oh, shoot. And she says to me, someone from my office came down to shop with you yesterday, and she said that she didn't really have a good time, that you weren't very nice. And I was like, what? And to be honest with you, I wasn't feeling good the day before when that woman had come in. I had no idea who she was, right? So that's another thing. Be aware, like, you don't know who people are. And two, like, I just really didn't feel good. I was sick. I just, I don't think I was chipper, but I don't remember being mean. And so unfortunately, like, I'm sure this woman that was my contact knew and said something, like, oh, Emily's so nice. She's so friendly, blah, blah. And so this woman was expecting to come in and find me, like, really friendly. And she didn't. And she went back and told my contact. And of course, I'm sitting there feeling like, worse now because I'm like, oh, geez. So of course, I apologized. I explained, yesterday I was like not feeling great. I've been working really hard and and she understood and she kind of just wanted to give me the heads up, which, I had to really like look back and thank her for that. At first I was very embarrassed, but it always from that day on, honestly, as horrible as I felt, I literally said hi with a smile to every single person that walked in almost the most obnoxious way because I was like, I never want someone who is considered like a VIP or not even a VIP to come in and feel like they're not welcome. And so I just, that really was a wake up call for me. So let me just throw that out at you. If you're not feeling good, just take a deep breath and suck it up some days. Like, unfortunately, like this is the business you're in. And even I, today, some days I don't feel great, but I just take deep breaths, like suck it up and do it. And if you're really, really, really feeling bad, just cancel something. It's definitely not worth putting your 40% forward foot out there. If you're at like 70 or 80%, like, okay, maybe try it, right? Just judge on yourself, but take that as a lesson to know that like people that are coming in want to have a good time. And I think for me, I've had that experience, and I've also had experiences in other boutiques where I didn't feel comfortable and I didn't feel welcome, and I just really didn't like it. I just felt like, really, like, I have money, I might spend it here. Like, why aren't you saying hi to me? Like, I've walked into small boutiques and not even said hi to, and there's like 2 or 3 people working. So please, please, please don't be one of those people. And I know you're not, but just please try very hard not to be one of those people, okay? Your friends are waiting for you. So what do you need to know about selling? Number 1, if you don't feel comfortable selling, we kind of talked about this, you need to get comfortable, okay? Just like get over it. This is how you make money. So whatever you need to do to get comfortable, and hopefully after this workshop training, you will feel comfortable, okay? So just kind of start to get over that. Now, I always boil down the idea of selling. It's being excited, right? It's being excited about your product. It's talking about that product in a way that makes other people feel your excitement. It will sell if people know you are excited, okay? And this is where I bring in a really wise piece of wisdom from one of my favorite spiritual mentors. She always says, share, don't sell. Share, don't sell. And I think that relates a lot to your product. Share, don't sell. So if you focus on sharing your excitement about a product or about whatever in your boutique, it will sell, right? I always find that in my store, people would pick something up and I'd be like, wow, this is cool. And, right away I'd say something interesting about it, right? Not the price, or, it would just always be like, oh, isn't that so cute? It's from a small designer on Cape Cod, or, oh my gosh, yes, that item has been like selling so well. It's really flattering on women who have your body shape, or, what is it that's going to excite people to buy? Or even to just try something on. Like, share about that item, share about yourself, share about your store. Like, this all applies. It really is boiled down to sharing and being excited. Know that the more that you share, the more money will naturally flow into your business. So this is kind of like a money mindset shift. And I think I do a lot of money mindset trainings, but here's the deal is if you're stressed about money in your store, even in e-commerce, right? It doesn't matter. Even if you have a screen between you and your customer, if you're stressed about money, it's going to show. People are going to pick up on that vibe. So please don't be stressed about money. Focus on the fact that the more you share, the more you will sell. So that's it. Like, done. We're excited. We're going to share and money will come. Good. Cool. Are we on board with that? Maybe you don't believe me yet. Okay, so let's keep going. But I do want you to take that tidbit and store it away in the back of your brain, okay? Okay. So we're going to start with your brand voice. And this is a big part of, I think, branding that a lot of women kind of skip over. They're just like, I'm going to sell products. Here's the name of my business. Whoa. Like, let's think about what your brand voice sounds like. Now, what are we going to start with, right? So what does your brand represent? Does it represent funky, urban, chic? Or does it represent country, western, lace? Right? Like those are two very different voices. So start to think about what your brand represents in terms of how you sell, what you sell. Now translate that into what's the voice of your ideal customer. Who do they connect with? Who are they going to connect with? So again, if I was like funky urban chic, that would maybe be someone who is a little more aggressive, right? A little more like a little cooler, like I'd say like downtown. You know, they're up with the trends, they know what's going on. Like, what does that voice sound like? And then like think about the Western country lace. Like maybe she says y'all, you know, maybe she says fixin'. Maybe she uses words that feel Southern or feel Midwestern, or, you know, that is what you want to think about, right? Imagine if it was like a boho, I'm thinking like boho paisley fringe kind of girl, right? Maybe she speaks like the festival language. So she talks about music. She talks about art, you know, dance, yoga. Like she's a little bit different. So who's your girl? What does her voice sound like? How can your ideal customer connect, right? This is almost like personalizing your brand, like humanizing your brand, right? Calling your brand like a her or him and describing who that person is. A little crazy, but I like that, right? What does your ideal customer want from your brand? So what do I mean by want? I mean want. What do they want to hear? And what do they want to see? Okay, this is all part of developing your brand voice. So what do they want from you? Do they want you to speak funky, fresh, cool? Or do they want you to talk about how to pair, you know, a denim skirt with cowboy boots and a cute top? Like, what do they want you to talk about? What kind of, and maybe you have to like kind of vocalize this in like, what would a blog post be that your ideal customer would really want to read? They'd be excited to read. Start to conceptualize that. Now, this is the voice that rolls through people's head over and over, this brand voice. Like, I feel like the only way I can describe this, and again, this is like so kind of like conceptual, it's a little bit hard. I'll give you some examples later, but really like this brand voice is something like the Geico iguana, you know, he's like a lizard or something. Like, you know his voice, you know what he's going to do, you know he's a little wacky, you know, things like that. So your brand voice is what rolls through people's head, and it's also can connect visually as well. So like, for example, I used to have some customers, they were like total VIPs. They come in and they'd be like, oh my God, I saw this really cute dress on a girl and I thought it was from you, but it wasn't. Right? So that's when like people are really starting to understand your style, and they're starting to see your style in other places on other women, and it's not from you, but like for some reason in their head, like a light goes off and says, oh, I think that's that brand, right? So they're thinking about you because you've kind of developed a voice, a look, a feel, and all of that is translating to them in this way that it's stuck in their head, you know? And this is something, let me tell you, this is something that takes like a year or two to really like define and develop. I always say it's like, if you aren't good in the creative aspect, you're not super creative, hire someone to help you develop this idea of your brand. Okay, like what does it sound like? Or go with your gut. You know, I think like I've always said this, I think your ideal customer is very similar to you. And so I want to make sure that you check in with yourself, and we'll talk about this in a few minutes, but is your brand voice very close to your voice? I don't know. That's up to you to decide. But I just want to throw that out there to you. So let's talk about brands that have a strong voice and why they do, right? So let's talk about Coca-Cola. Okay, I've lived in many other countries, and Coca-Cola is in all of them. And you always know Coca-Cola has this vibe of like happiness. Like people, you think about the commercials for Coca-Cola. I know even in other countries I've seen commercials are a little bit different. They look like the culture that they're in, but the people in these commercials are always happy. They're joyful. They're doing things with other people, right? So it's like we're going to share a Coke around these other people. It's uplifting, it's happy. Like when we drink Coke, we are happy, right? That's a really, really strong brand voice. Just like someone like Nike, right? Nike's like, just do it. I'm super athletic. I'm going to run that race. I'm going to sweat. I'm going to work out. Like, I'm going to go for my goals, right? We know exactly what that swoosh represents. And it has a very distinct brand voice. Okay, what about the Gap, right? Now, Gap I put on here, I do think Gap is sort of fluctuating with this brand voice. But let's fast forward, rewind a little bit. So who remembers Gap's very distinctive commercials? And I think commercials are kind of the best way to describe these because a lot of these brands use commercials, right? Whole Foods doesn't, but that's okay. So Gap is all about what? It was all about being fresh and clean and cool and a little bit hip, but not hip and hipster. Just hip where I'm going to wear pop color pants. Right? And I'm going to dance in my pop colored pants. And I think Gap really had this image. And, it does teeter. I think it's still, it's falling a bit away from its voice. It's still trying to find it. But when we think about Gap, we think clean, classic, crisp, right? We think I can afford that price point. It's not too out of reach. It's not too inexpensive. We know the clothes are well made, right? So I think Gap is a really good clothing example. And maybe there's another example you can come up with when I say what is a very strong clothing brand, right? Maybe even Chanel is very strong, or I think Chanel is pretty strong. They're very bold graphics. You always know they're going to have some sort of tweed in there. They're always going to have something lightweight. There are definitely some high fashion brands, but these are more mainstream, right? Whole Foods, okay? Whole Foods has become the place to be healthy, right? I want to feel healthy, so I'm going to go to Whole Foods. I am getting in shape, so I'm going to go buy my kale at Whole Foods, right? I'm going to get a smoothie there. And the interesting part too is that I feel like Whole Foods definitely has some things in it that maybe aren't that healthy. You still have to be careful there. However, they've had such a strong brand voice, and they've kind of been first in the market in a big way around having healthful, natural foods. So they could kind of get away with putting some things in there that aren't so quote unquote healthy. Maybe they have some chemicals in them. Maybe they, I don't know. They definitely don't have all organic stuff, but I do think that Whole Foods, most people think, oh, everything's in there is organic, everything is expensive, everything's gluten-free, and they have a whole cheese bar in there. So take it for what you will, but I do think Whole Foods has done a really good job becoming a healthy grocery store, right? So these are brands that have a really strong voice. Take a step back and let's go through some questions, right? How can you find your voice? So the first question to ask, and this is in the workbook as well, that you can fill out. So I want my brand to make people feel what? So we talked about Coca-Cola, happy. With Nike, I want my brand to make people feel strong, athletic, right? Whole Foods, I want my brand to make people feel healthy, right? These are all really easy ways. So what do you want your brand to make people feel? Think about that. I want people to blank when they come into contact with my brand. What do you want them to do? Do you want them to be excited? Do you want them to feel inspired? Do you want them to feel like they can do any workout? Do you want them to feel like they are losing weight? What is it? Do you want them to feel happy? Do you want them to feel, excited? What is it? I felt for me, the fashion truck, I always wanted people to feel excited. Honestly, that was always the first thing. I want people to feel excited when they see my truck, and excited when they see any new stuff from my brand. That was really important because I wanted to convey, again, my excitement, right? Okay, 3 words that describe my brand are what? And again, you guys, these are in the workbook. So If you haven't downloaded that and have it out yet, like maybe take a second to download that and just, or jot some notes down here so you can kind of transfer them to the workbook. But 3 words that describe my brand are what? Okay. For me in the fashion trek, this was really 3 words to describe my brand were feminine, preppy, and modern. Really, feminine, preppy, and modern. That kind of encompassed it. Interacting with my customers and potential customers makes me feel blank. How does it make you feel, right? We've got to think about your end of the bargain here. So, what do you want to get out of all this? And again, I'm going to kind of not give you any ideas here because I want you to just think of what pops into your head first. A lot of this is instinct, right? It's all intuition. How do you really feel like you want to create your voice? And once you create your voice, this is where we start to build the relationship. So, how do we build real relationships, right? This isn't about like being fake or putting on a facade. Like at the end of the day, people, I feel like in this day and age, especially because of all of the, anyone can, open a website, anyone can run Facebook ads. And I've seen lots of websites and lots of Facebook ads for companies that I'm like, is there a real person there? Like, is this a real thing? If I pay the money for this, am I going to get it? Like, I just feel nervous, right? And I think that when you build a real relationship with your customers and come out from behind, the curtain, you end up gaining so much more. So here's the deal. You've got to start off with your customer. So you have your voice, you know where they live, you know what they do, you know them really well. So talk about the world that they live in. Use language that is going to feel good to them, is going to feel like, wow, she understands me, right? So let's just use an example, right? Let's say your ideal customer is moms, right? So what are you going to talk about? You're going to talk about how, there's like a meme going around where it says like, my kids are getting ready for school, and it's a picture of a snail, right? Like real life picture of my kids going to school. It's a snail getting ready for school. And so that's the thing. A mom is going to think that is so funny, right? Know who you're talking to, know the world they live in, because that's going to help you build those relationships. They're going to feel like, oh my God, she gets me. Like this store really gets me. Oh my gosh. Now, I think it's so important. And again, this kind of goes back to like me having a bias against boutique owners who aren't nice and who feel like they have this like very, high end, whatever. I won't go there. But here's the thing. I feel like if you're going to have a boutique that you want people to shop in, real women, you need to help them feel good about their bodies. You need to be their best friend when they're having a crappy day and they need retail therapy. And you absolutely need to be someone who gives them confidence. Bottom line, why do you go shopping? I know I go shopping most of the time when I'm not feeling that great because I know it's going to pick me up. And I know I've been in the dressing room trying things on and not felt good, even though I know I look good, right? We all know that we have those days. And I feel like when you can give a customer confidence and be their friend, like they're going to love you forever, and obviously be genuine about it. Like I think there is something real to being a real person. And honestly, even if they're buying for, let's say you have a home goods store, give them confidence that this pillow is going to look really great in their living room. Give them confidence that this candle smell is going to like make their kitchen smell amazing, right? So like, how do you need to translate that for your customer, for your store? But here's the bottom line is that women go shopping because they want to feel good. So help them do that. Enhance the situation, right? Okay. So also choose the best method to communicate with them. And what do I mean by best method? I really mean like communicate when you're not with them. So like after they've shopped with you, how are you going to communicate with them? Are they on Instagram? Are they on Facebook? Are they on Snapchat? Do they answer emails? Right? And I've worked with clients who say, my people don't use Facebook, but they answer they always open emails, and they often answer my emails, right? I have had women say, my clients are only on Instagram. They don't use Facebook, right? And that's fine. You got to know who your people are and really where they are using social media or any kind of like online media, basically to understand how you can talk to them. So choose the best methods. Don't feel like you have to be on every single platform. It's really just a waste of your time. Pick the best ones and be really, really good at them. Okay, this one is huge. I find that so many women don't do this, and it's a massive missed opportunity to make the sale. So following up with people, following up with potential customers, and this means like abandon carts on your website, follow up, send an email. Shopify has an automatic send email situation. Make sure you have that hooked up on Shopify. Any messages they sent you, right? Even if you sent a message back and they didn't reply, follow up again in a week. Put them on your follow-up list. In one of my notebooks, I have a follow-up list. Who do I need to follow up with? And it's just like a list. It's just handwritten. No big deal. I know I need to follow up them, and sometimes I'll put a note in case it's hard for me to remember or there's someone new. What do I need to follow up with them about? Okay? Also, maybe they made a purchase with you, right? Goes for online, or if you're collecting their email in the store, follow up, make a note. Let's say someone comes into your store and they need a dress for a wedding. Okay. You help them pick out a great dress. They're so excited about it. Now they're really excited about the wedding. Maybe just like ask them when the wedding is. And maybe they'll tell you, right? Generally they say, oh, it's in a month, or oh, it's in, a week, and I'm freaking out. So make a note of that. Throw it in your calendar and just put I love to use G Calendar for Google, and put a note in your calendar around the time that you think that they're going, maybe a little bit after, and just shoot them a nice note that morning. It doesn't have to be long. Just say hey, Jennifer, had such a good time helping you pick out the dress for the wedding. Just wanted to check in and see how the wedding went. How did you feel? What shoes did you end up wearing? You don't know how long away an email like that will go. Women will literally freak out if you send them that email. And I know it's a lot of work. I know it's it takes being aware of what's going on. However, like I said, we are in the business of building repeat customers, VIP customers, and brand advocates. So this is a really awesome way to do that. All right, so I always talk about social media. How can you be more consistent with it? Okay, because part of building the relationship is showing up on social media. So how can you be consistent? Because honestly, consistency, yeah, it helps the algorithm, but to be honest, it actually also helps your customers realize that you're a real person, that you care about your business, and that you're excited about it. So use a schedule, right? I feel so often, and I had this massive learning curve when I quit my 9-to-5 and started my business, but the learning curve was so huge around learning a schedule. I think it's taken me 5 years to use a schedule and stick to it and be kind of a jerk about it, a jerk to myself, and kind of set boundaries with other people, even my family. My mom will call sometimes and say, hey, can we talk? And I'm like, honestly, Mom, I can't. Are you okay? Can we catch up tomorrow? Because I have a schedule. I need to stick to it. And that might sound crazy, but I get so much done during the week. I get crazy amounts done. So use your schedule to be social. So put it in your calendar. Have alerts pop up on your phone to check Facebook or post something on Facebook, or get on Instagram and do your hour of Instagramming. This is so important, you guys. I just feel you need to today decide that you are going to put it in your schedule and stick to it. Decide not to be busy. Decide not to be too stressed to do this. The minute you start being consistent with social media, you will see such a massive return. I guarantee you. Like if you're consistent for a month and you don't see a massive increase in just like engagement, sales, the whole bit, you can call me and I will give you like a free one-on-one session. Like you need to prove to me that you've been consistent, but I will literally give you a free 1 hour strategy session if you've been consistent on social media and it's not working for you. Okay? I make that promise here. Send me an email. Let me know. But I know for myself, I know for everyone that I've ever worked with, that the minute they start to be consistent and using that schedule, oh my gosh, they see such a huge jump in their sales. So just do it, okay? Just freaking do it. Now, I say that with a grain of salt. You also don't want to overwhelm yourself. So remember when we talked about what's the best way to communicate with your customers, like pick one place to be really consistent. Again, like I don't want you to kill yourself, but I want you to be consistent and use a schedule. So pick one platform a month to grow. Okay, for me right now, I'm like heavy on Facebook and I am seeing the results. I'm pretty heavy on Facebook, and actually I'm being really consistent on YouTube as well. I'm posting every week. I'm posting correctly, and in 1 month, I've seen my followers grow 60 people, 60 subscribers in 1 month. Crazy. Pick that one platform. Now, your blog. So many women say to me, Emily, I don't understand why my website just isn't growing. I feel like I don't know what's going on. Here's the deal. Your website needs to stay active. Okay, so I'm going to suggest here using your blog space to stay active. Now, when you do your blog, does this mean you need to write a 5-paragraph explanation about yourself and about your No, stop. Okay, the best blogs are the ones with pictures. So add pictures of your products, talk about what's going on, and write a little blurb with some really great keywords for your business, okay? You don't have to get cray on this. You just have to be consistent. So use that blog space, and alternately, you also can choose to update like your pictures or change your listings around. Really, guys, like your website, if once you have it up about every week, you really need to schedule in time for about an hour or two just to like switch things up, just so your website stays active. What happens if your website just sits there is Google's like, is this website like real? Is there a person behind it, or did someone just put it up and leave it? Right? Part of all of your platforms on the interwebs is that they all need to stay active, right? So I'm probably overwhelming some of you right now, but the deal is that, again, don't overwhelm yourself, okay? If you can spend an hour a week on like each platform, you'll be good, right? And I mean, I've gotten my YouTube uploads down to about 10 minutes it takes me to get it all prepped and ready to go. So 10 minutes a week to get 40 subscribers in the month, like I'm good with that, right? 10 minutes a week, 40 minutes a month, 40 subscribers. And that's a subscriber a minute. So again, just be consistent, show up. Now, last but not least, email communication is so important. If you haven't started your email building list process yet, please, please, please get on that. So you need to be collecting emails at any time someone checks out, anytime someone comes in the store, anytime someone sends you an email. Like this all needs to go on your email list. Because when you build your list, you get to build relationships with your people, right? I will tell you, my email list for the fashion truck was not very big. I grew to about, I don't know, 1,200, 1,400 people, something like that. And I guarantee you, I would say when I had my brick and mortar store, I would send an email out on like a Wednesday or Tuesday night. And I'd be like, hey, I'm going to run a sale this weekend. And I probably run a sale like every 8 weeks, something like that. I would run a sale for 3 days. No, actually it was 2 because usually I was closed on Sunday. So it'd be like a Thursday night email and say I'm running a sale Friday, Saturday. You guys, like, do you know how many people came into the store? So many people, okay? Just from that one email. So you're building relationships with people and you're letting them know what's going on with you. You're telling them about events, you're telling them about new arrivals, and you're building that relationship with them. So email communication counts in this whole social world. So I would love for you to pick like 3 goals for the next 30 days around being consistent somewhere, somehow on email, social media, or your blog. And just do it. Okay? Like I said, I guarantee you're going to see a return from this. So just get consistent. Okay. Dun dun dun. Now we have come to what I like to say is the hard part. And if you know me, you know I hate the word hard. But I find with so many clients, this is the hard part. Okay? So here it is. Being the face of your brand. Being you for your brand. So many women just want to open a store because they like to shop or they think they're good at picking out items. They really want to have a boutique and they never freaking show up. Like, that is not going to work. Like I said, that is what the strategy for those people who, buy things from China, put it on a Shopify site and just run Facebook ads with a weird name. Like, that's for those people. That's not for you, okay? You are building relationships, and the best way to build relationships is to show up. I tell the story all the time of how when I had the fashion truck, I would actually get like upset when people would say my name. Like the first 2 years of my business, I would be like, oh, like someone would post, for example, someone would post on Facebook, "Hey, Emily, do you have any of that green dress left?" I would see that and I would freak out. I'd be like, oh, why do they know my name is Emily? I'm the fashion truck. This is my brand. Like, oh, I did not understand what being the face of your brand was. And I did not understand that, like it or not, I was face of my brand. And I had to come to terms with that in kind of a hard way. So let me just describe to you ways in which you need to kind of be the face of your brand and make it a little bit easier for you, soften the blow. Because I know, like I said, this is hard for a lot of women. They don't want to be visible. They just kind of want to sell their products. But listen, you are watching this training for a reason. You're watching this training because you are better than average and you're going to be more successful than average. So this is one of the quickest and easiest ways to be better than average. So ready? You have to let people into your life and behind the scenes of your business. Now, does this mean I want to see every meal that you eat? No. Does this mean I want to see 487 pictures of your kids? No. But does this mean that I want to see a box on your front doorstep of product? Yes. Does this mean I want to see you with the truck at a new location? Yes. Does this mean I want to see you, painting the walls of your new brick and mortar store? Yes. Does this mean I want to see a picture of you uploading things onto your website? Yes, I do. I want to see all of this. Do I want to see you talking about why you love the clothes that are coming in? Yes. Okay, here's the deal. I want you to let people in. And maybe you do it slowly, but please, please, please do it. It's so important. The best way to do this, and again, this is why it's the hard part, is because everyone says, Emily, you're so good at video. And I'm like, yeah, it wasn't like this like 2-3 years ago. This took a while. I was not excited to be on video at first. However, you get a lot of positive reinforcement if you're consistent with video. Showing up via video is the quickest way to increase your like, know, trust factor. Okay, why? Because people see you on video, they're like, oh, she's cute. I like her. Yeah, I like those clothes. Okay. Then they get to know you because they keep watching. Maybe they start to buy something. Then they trust you. After they've bought something, or it depends. Sometimes it's like right before they buy something, they decide they've trusted you, or they bought something because they liked and they knew you. So like, you know what? I'll buy that shirt. And then they get the shirt and it's so cute and the packaging's so cute. Or they come to your store and they're like, oh my God, she's as nice in person as she is on her videos. This is so cool. right? Video is so easy. It's such a great way to shorten the time between the like and the trust, literally. And so if you need to, this is something I do with my one-on-one clients and anyone in my 6-figure blueprint course. I say, you know what, if you're uncomfortable with video, let's make a private Facebook group, and you could do this with a friend. Let's make a private Facebook group, and I'm going to practice going on Facebook Live, or I'm going to practice recording a video on my phone, and then I'm going to, email it to a couple friends and ask them for feedback, right? There's ways to get comfortable. I don't want to say to you, like, tomorrow, go do a video, if that's something you're not comfortable with. However, I do want to plant the seed in your head so that it starts to grow, because the more and more active video gets on social media, especially Facebook, the more important it's going to be for you and your video, for you and your boutique. Sorry, I love talking about video, clearly. So the deal is that we keep seeing proof in social that video is important. So we're seeing it pop up. YouTube has become, YouTube is just like crazy. The amount of videos that get uploaded there every day is like, I don't even know, but the number's absurd. We've seen Instagram stories pop up as being really popular. That's mostly video. We're seeing now Facebook has introduced some version of stories. We have Facebook Live. Guys, video is like, you're just not going to get around it. So figure out a way to get comfortable. Again, this is the hard part. So what I'm saying is freaking you out, like, that's okay. Start to get comfortable. I'm planting the seed, and start realizing that all of this is going to help you be successful and make more money faster. Because here's the deal, right? Like at the beginning, it's build relationships, get customers, make money. Boom. Okay? Video is a great way to do that. How else can you be the face of your brand? Well, what's your bigger mission? Okay? And I say this with a don't judge your mission. So I always talk about, what's your intention for starting your business, your boutique, your product line, whatever it is. What was your intention in starting this business? Now, how can you share that? How can you, again, this is another way to get people excited about your business, but how can you share your bigger mission? So I know for me, I got laid off from my job. Let's be real. I got laid off, and my mission in starting a fashion truck, and, even when I had just the idea for it, I did not want to be in a 9-to-5. I did not want to have a boss. I wanted freedom. And that's what it gave me. Starting my own business gave me freedom. And I was totally fine talking about that. A lot of times in the truck, I would have women kind of stay at private parties, or they'd ask me wow, this is so cool. I'm a little bit jealous. Tell me more about what you're doing. And I'm like, yeah, no, I love the idea of having freedom. I love the idea of, helping women feel good about their bodies. All of that stuff, you guys, that's great to talk about. And I don't think you have to do it in a mushy mush way. You can do it in a way that feels really authentic. So don't judge why you started your business. Just tell people about it. Even if it is financial freedom, even if it is not being attached to a paycheck and a boss, that is still a really valid mission. You don't have to be curing cancer, but I'm pretty sure that whatever your reason for starting your business was, there's a woman out there who is your customer or your potential customer who will relate to that. So don't be afraid to share it, please. Now, I'll give you a few ways that I choose to share myself on social media, because hopefully you follow me on social media. And like I said, it's not my favorite thing to share myself, but I do, because I know that know, and trust factor goes up. And I know that if I want to spread my message to more and more women, I have to speak up and I have to show myself so they get to know me. So what do I share? I share my travels, right? That's me in Mexico. I share my spiritual side. Slowly but surely, I tell people about, I love angels. I love essential oils. I love candles. All that stuff. Little by little, I'll share that, I share my hobbies. I'm a trained painter. That's what I went to school for. And I still like to do it when I have some downtime. So I'm going to share pictures of me being artistic. And I also share my non-glam side, okay? Like this was a day where I cried literally all day. And Greg said to me, wow, you look so pretty. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to post it because I'm not perfect and I don't wear makeup all the time and I don't like look adorable all the time. I'm like just dressed in like some all black everything outfit, you know, with literally no makeup on. So I'm going to share that because I want women to see that I'm a real person and that I'm not all perfect and with my hair curled in a dress and blah, blah, blah. So this is how I choose to share myself. I would consider how you want to choose to share yourself. And that can evolve, right? Like this is me after, I don't know, months and months and months of like slowly testing this idea out, right? A great place to go to see like how I share myself is my Instagram at Stylish and Successful, right? Good. Okay. So like I said, what does this look like for you? Maybe jot some notes down right now. How do you want to share yourself to the people that you're, building these relationships with? What does that look like for you? Why don't you like jot 2 or 3 quick notes down right now? Okay. Awesome. So let's move on. The next thing I want to talk about is third-party validation. Now, a lot of times, I actually first heard this when I did a network marketing business, which was another business that I was involved in the past couple years. And they often talked about third-party validation to help get the sale. And I found it so interesting because I never really saw like boutiques using this. I didn't really see like brands using this very often. So I thought this was interesting. So what third party validation really is showing validation that what you're doing or product that you're selling is awesome to a potential customer, right? So this really just means like it's very important to have reviews, comments, and sharing about whatever it is, a product, your store, whatever this means. Like, how is someone kind of reviewing you, reviewing the product, making a comment about you or the product, or sharing about you and a product? So that can be like sharing a photo of them wearing something. This is a lot of times like a before and after, like, things like that. So what you want to do really with this is to ask for reviews, promote the reviews, and repost them, right? So first off, it's asking. So figuring out how to ask is sort of tricky, right? I like to put it, if you're in a position where you're shipping items, you could put a little card in your shipping goods and say like, hey, we'd love to hear how much you love this. Like, please post, direct people to like 1 or 2 places, not too many. Like share it on Facebook, write a review on our Facebook page, whatever. And with the reviews, then you're going to promote them. So you can either say like write a review and get $10 off, or write a review and get 20% off your next purchase. And then once you get them, you really, really, really want to repost these. And I'll show you on the next page how we're going to repost these. Now, a really great way to sort of collect these is by adding a review section to your e-commerce site. So maybe when someone buys something from you on your website, in the receipt email, they get a link to review their product, or maybe a week after they purchase, 2 weeks after they purchase. And I've seen this happen. I actually just got an email the other day from an online order I had placed where it said like, how'd you like everything? Like, tell us how you liked it. And it had everything that I bought and a link to review it. And I was like, wow, that is pretty good. And I have to say, most of the things I bought off that website were because of the reviews. Because especially when I'm buying online, for me being 6'1", it's really hard for me to judge. And I get nervous buying offline, but I definitely appreciate women who write their reviews, say what size they are, say how tall they are, things like that. Because for me, that's like a huge way that I buy things. I'd say 95% of the things I buy online or end up making kind of a bigger purchase on, I 100% research the ratings and reviews. So definitely start to think about how and where you can add this in your boutique business model, in your product business model. I think that it will 100% pay off for you in the long run. So let me show you a few ways. So here we go. I have some things from Facebook. So these are ways I use them, right? So I've cut and pasted, screenshotted what people have said about me and my business, some results that they've gotten. Oh, here we go. So you can have an experience testimonial. So what was the experience someone had with you in their store, in shipping, in customer service, whatever that experience was. You also could have a results testimonial, right? This is great if you have a product line like, oh my God, I started using this skincare and it totally changed my skin. I'm glowing, blah, blah. Or, oh my God, these pants make me look 10 pounds skinnier. Oh, this is amazing. Now, for Facebook ads, this is one of my favorite things to do. We've been doing this recently with some of my one-on-one clients. Is we've been using the reviews in the Facebook ads. So see right here at the top, it says, I just received my first order. I loved all my items. Lori. We put someone's name there, right? We didn't even need to put their whole name there. We just put their name there. And we pulled these right off of the Facebook page reviews. So someone could go in and double check this. Again, she closed, great customer service, free and fast shipping, Jen. Now, wouldn't you be like, oh my gosh, this is great. Okay, this woman loves them. This woman says it's fast and free shipping. Like, oh, I should click on that. Okay, so this is a really nice way to use testimonials to help you sell more. Again, anything that has stars, this is from my Amazon book page, but a lot of times, Facebook reviews, I don't have Facebook reviews right now, but anything with a Facebook review will give you stars. This is something really great to add onto your website. I definitely know, whenever I go on Nordstrom's website, they have the star system. Most websites, I'd say, would have the star system. So I would look at adding that on e-commerce or wherever you need. But anything with stars is so good because it's just, it's an easy way to look and see, is it 5 stars or is it 1? I know on Netflix, I definitely look at how many stars something gets before I decide to spend my time with it, So how can you start to use third-party reviews, results, experience, whatever, to help promote your business? Right? This is a way that's really untapped that I think if you can commit to trying to do this, I think you'll see a really big difference. All right. So I think this is last but not least, but maximizing your social media engagement. So how are you going to continue to maximize? And I know I bring up social media all the time, but you guys, here's the deal is it's so important. Social media is just so crazy important. So what can you do? So I would say one of the best things to do is make sure people see things 7 times, right? So a lot of times I have women who will say to me, well, I posted it. Okay, you posted it once. I don't care. If you ever see me on social media and I'm promoting something, I post it a zillion times, right? And I definitely see a difference, especially on day 4, 5, 6, when I posted it once a day, twice a day in multiple places. I see a massive jump in engagement the more I post. So what are you doing to promote that sale? What are you doing to promote that item, right? When I say promotions, it doesn't have to be a sale or a markdown. It can just be promotions. How are you showing off an item? Have you shown it off 7 times, right? This is the tale of being diligent and consistent, period. Now, I also think it's important to educate buyers. So again, how does something fit? Why did you buy it? What makes it important? Tell people more about your products. Again, I see so many product-based businesses just posting an item saying fits great, comes in size small to large. Seriously? That is what your Facebook post is? No. Tell people about it. Add some romance copy. Go, the best websites I think that have beautiful romance copy are J.Crew and Anthropologie. Go over there, see what they write about their products, okay? They write about them like they are a fine cheese from France that has been aged for 10 years, right? That's what you need to do. And again, I know this takes work, and I know you're probably feeling really overwhelmed at this point, but take it slow, okay? Like implement some of these things slowly. And again, the worksheet will help you do this, but educating buyers on what they're buying is going to help you make the sale. And that's what I call maximizing social media engagement. You're really trying to have that conversation through social media with your customers, okay? With potential customers. I just see too many women just throwing up a post of the picture once, putting like a one-line description that's kind of vague, and then saying like, I don't know why it's not working. Like, come on, okay, guys? You're smarter than that. So spend the time and describe something. The other thing you really, like, this has been huge for me on my own personal social media page, especially Facebook, is creating that dialogue with people. Ask them questions, right? Ask them a couple questions. Put it in big letters on a graphic, right? Like, what's your favorite color? Literally, it can be that simple. Do you like maxi dresses or short dresses, right? Make it simple to answer. You don't have to get crazy. Like, it's not like, oh, would you rather pay $49 for this item or $12? Like, no. Let's just like ask them, find out things with your customers that they like, find out things that they don't like. And if someone comments on something, again, this is part of the follow-up process. Like if someone comments on a post, start a conversation, right? Don't just answer and be like, thanks. Be like, oh my gosh, what did you love so much about it? Answer with a question, right? Tag them. Let them know that you're responding. Have that conversation. It takes an extra 2 minutes, but like people are going to appreciate that you're trying to have a conversation with them. And you've got to encourage these brand advocates, these people that love your brand. So I've had so many women when I had the fashion truck, I would like repost them in an outfit that they bought. You know, maybe they post on Instagram, maybe they post on Facebook, but I would repost it and I inevitably, like so many times, a woman was like, oh my God, I feel famous. And I love that. You know, I think that we forget that our brand lovers really do love us and that they really want to feel good about shopping with us. So encourage them to post, you know, repost what they're doing, maybe feature them in an email. You know, I think I sent an email out to some of my favorite VIP customers and I said, hey, listen, I'd love to feature you in an email, you know, in one of the things you bought from me and just talk about why you love the store, right? And they thought that was so cool. Like they were like, oh my God, this is amazing. And for me, it was amazing because I got to have not only third-party validation, but just, you know, I got to share the story of why people love my store. It was just engaging, right? So these are simple things you can do, but I think that they go such a long way in really maximizing that social media engagement. Like that is a key word here, is engagement. You want to have that dialogue. You want to have that back and forth with customers. Again, they're your friends or they're potential friends. So just like be friendly with them. There we go. You and your customers are the heart and soul of your brand. So you are probably the heart, they're the soul. Like who knows? But the deal is you plus them equals your company, right? It takes two to tango here. It can't just be you like posting random stuff, you just buying things and like thinking you're going to sell them. Like no. Your customers are an extremely important part of this equation. So like love them, treat them like gold, you know, like Girl Scouts, like one is silver and the other's gold. Like, listen, they're all gold, okay? So know that if you build real relationships with them, then they will come back, they will talk about you, they will just like love the heck out of you. Okay, takeaways. We'll wrap this up. First of all, your brand voice will lead the conversation, okay? So make sure your brand voice is on point. Make sure that your ideal customer understands that voice and make sure that it's clear and concise, okay? Don't get like mixed up and don't be too boring. Like have a little bit of fun, okay? Always have fun. Now, Second, if you hide behind that curtain, it's going to be really hard to build relationships. You have to come out of the closet with your business. You have to show that you are a real person, okay? Whatever it takes for you to slowly but surely come out from behind your brand, you've got to just start to do it. Decide right now that you're going to do that. If you don't build these relationships, the bottom line is you're just not going to sell as much as you'd like, right? I don't care what your margins are. I don't care your inventory management. I don't care about all that stuff. Right now, once you have your business, if you have your business up and running, like you're in the process of like selling, you've got to focus on building those relationships and nurturing them. It's so, so important. Really, guys, your customers are like your friends. You have to consider how much you can love them and how many times a week you can love them, share with them, engage with them. That's really the bottom line here, right? Yeah, it's about our products. Yeah, it's about our business. It's really about these relationships. And that's why I'm so excited that you've listened to this entire training. Hopefully you've gotten a lot from it. But the big number one takeaway is just like relationships are golden in your boutique business. So realize that right now. And I guarantee you will see a massive shift if you implement some of this stuff over the next month. Okay? Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Emily, and I will talk to you very soon. Here's to making lots of friends and making lots of money.